friends, I'm Kendra Winchester. Welcome back to my channel. And today I come to you from a very rainy day here in South Carolina. I had already filmed this video, 20 minutes of me jabbering on, and I hated all of it. But I am very under the weather, no pun intended. So I just set up my iPhone and we're just gonna roll with it so I can talk about the disability representation in Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. This book is incredibly popular right now, and understandably so. It's a story of friendship between Sam and Sadie. They are both from LA in California, and they meet in the hospital when Sadie is there for her older sister who's getting treatment for cancer, her older sister Alice, and Sam is there because he was in a horrific car accident where his foot was crushed and his mom died. And so now he's being raised by his Korean grandparents. He's a Korean Jewish kid, and he doesn't really know his dad or the Jewish side of his family. And so his mom died. It was just his grandparents there to raise him. And so they find each other, the two kids, they find each other in the hospital and they play video games. And Sadie's really able to bring Sam out of his shell after the trauma of being injured in such a way, and also his mom passing. And so I really appreciated the way that Gabrielle Zevin uses video games in that special connection that video games have with sick and disabled kids. Growing up as a disabled kid with a brother who's also chronically ill, video games were important to us. And my brother, also not being able to reprint, more so than me as a kid, he experienced story and escapism through video games. And so that's something that I really enjoyed about this book. And overall, I really enjoyed the story that is told in this book because it really treats video games as the art they are, and it talks about the logistics of creating video games and the power of story in each of the games that they create. And that's something that I think a lot of people just don't appreciate about video games, but that's not what we're here to talk about today about this book. Because even though I enjoyed it, I felt that the disability representation in regards to Sam, the boy whose foot was crushed and had many surgeries to try to pin it back together, I feel like that ultimately was disappointing for me. So I thought we would just walk through that and talk about it and some things that I saw in the book. So I looked everywhere, and from what I can tell, Gabrielle Zevin is not disabled. If she is disabled, I don't think she has the same disability as Sam, the main character. I can tell she has done a lot of research on the topic and, knows a lot of the details about what amputees experience. But I think there was a broader context to disability that she missed. So when we meet Sam, he is a kid. He has experienced this intense trauma in his life, some of the worst things to ever happen to him. So of course he's angry. He's angry because not only is he now disabled, his mom is gone. Every time his foot is in pain, it kind of reminds him what he has lost. And that really stays with him. And as he gets older, he also notices that he's now living in a society not built for him. When he's in Boston, going to Harvard and working with Sadie on their first video game, he often has to travel in the snow and cold because the public transportation system does not take him everywhere he needs to go. He has to walk several blocks sometimes. And for someone with a foot like the one he has that has been severely injured, it's not a great situation. Early on, the doctor did tell him he would probably need to have his foot amputated, and indeed he does. That is not really a spoiler. It's pretty much up front. The doctors are like, eventually you will probably need this, but we're going to try to keep it, pin it back together and try to get it to heal as much as possible and to give you as long as time before you would need that surgery. But ultimately, he does need that surgery. After the surgery, it's not like his disability magically disappears, which is great. Unfortunately, some people approach disability that way. So I was glad that Gabrielle Zevin talked about the complications of amputees and having to adjust to the right prosthetic, finding the right prosthetic, how painful it is to start physical therapy on a wound that hasn't healed yet, phantom pains. It really distracts him from his work and makes it really difficult for him to create video games, which is the thing that he loves. And so he, again, is very frustrated with this thing that he has, and it really affects much of his life. as you would expect. I felt that his experience as a disabled person is just not complete in this book. The disability throughout the entire book was treated as something to overcome as opposed to a vital part of his identity. Now, later in the book, it is mentioned that after he has his foot amputated and he has his prosthetic, that he has an avatar in this online video game world, and that avatar has a cane, even though he no longer uses one in real life. And at that moment, I got kind of excited. I was like, oh, he wants a physical representation of the disability that people might not be able to necessarily see without a cane being as part of his avatar. So that's cool. But I felt like that happened and it wasn't really delved into. It wasn't really approached, or how he emotionally had come to this point where he saw his disability as part of himself. I feel like it was definitely a missed opportunity to dive into disability identity and how Sam felt about it. Because after that point, he mentions that he no longer has chronic pain. He has something very traumatic happens in the plot that I won't tell you, and he feels phantom pain again for the first time in a long time. That's really all that's mentioned in like the last third or last quarter of the book. And I kind of expected that there would be this sense of self-acceptance, that we would delve into his identity, because he seemed to be heading that direction. But then the nuance and complexities of disability, if there were any, just evaporated. And I became very frustrated with the book, because this is a vital part of Sam as a character. This is vital to his life experience. Instead of treating his disability as the complex, nuanced experience that it is in reality, it was always treated as something to overcome. And once it appeared that he had overcome his disability, that it was no longer mentioned. There's this particular moment as well where I think Gabrielle Zevin falls into the common misconception that disabled people are asexual. Are disabled people asexual? Just like anyone else? Yes, there are disabled asexual people out there, of course. But there is a common misconception in the general society that desexualizes disabled people. And that is extremely frustrating, because it treats us like we are children and not complete human adult beings. And so that is something that this book does also fall into. And in a similar sense, where part of his disabled identity seemed to be like disappearing by the end of the book, it felt like this also stripped away a part of his character, because otherwise, like, there's a lot going on with Sam, and I really liked a lot of part of who he was, but I felt those were very much missed opportunities to add a more well-rounded approach to his disability that was just absent for the book. In regards to his disability, the book just stopped any character growth in that area. I want to be clear that I don't think the book is offensive. I'm not saying you shouldn't read it. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I feel like we could have done better by Sam. You know, there you are. So those are some thoughts I had about the book. Again, there's a lot to love in this book that I did love, but everyone and Mother's Brother is talking about this book, so you will have no shortage of positive reviews about this book and why you should pick it up. But I just wanted to comment on that. I would love to see more amputees discuss this book, because it's something I haven't seen, and I would have really appreciated some of that perspective. But yeah, so that is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. Yeah, so let me know your thoughts on Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, and what you thought about it. I mean, again, lots of things to love. You can talk about things you love, things you didn't love. Anyway, I'll quit talking about it. I hope you all are having a great time wherever you are. If not, I hope good days are in your future. And I'll talk to you all later. Bye.